Rain drummed lightly on the windows the night it all began. Aisha had just come home from work, tossing her bag onto the sofa and collapsing with a relieved sigh. She grabbed her favorite fantasy novel, the one she had been reading for days, her escape, her comfort. But before she could flip the first page, her boyfriend, Farhan, walked in and stood in front of her, arms crossed. "Put that away," he said, voice strangely cold. She blinked. "What?" "Books, movies, dramas, all of it. Stop consuming fictional nonsense." Aisha laughed at first, thinking he was joking, but Farhan's expression hardened. "I'm serious. I don't want you wasting your time on fantasies anymore." Aisha felt the room shrink around her. Her books, her dramas, her stories, they weren't wasting time. They were her joy, her escape, her creativity, her peace. Something felt wrong. Very wrong. The next morning, Aisha found Farhan sitting at the dining table, sipping tea and scrolling his phone. He didn't look up when she walked in. "So," he said casually, "did you delete everything?" "Everything?" "Your reading apps, your drama playlists. Oh, the fictional trash." Aisha felt her stomach twist. "Farhan, why are you acting like this? Nothing happened yesterday that would—" "That's the problem," he interrupted sharply. "You don't even see what the problem is." Aisha stepped back. The Farhan she fell in love with, the charming, confident, protective man, felt like a distant memory. "Farhan, you can't just tell me what I can and cannot read." "I can," he said calmly, "and I am." Silence stretched between them, cold and suffocating. Something inside Aisha, something small and frightened, began to crack. That weekend, Farhan went to meet a friend. Aisha stayed home, pacing, confused, hurt, angry. Finally, her breathing heavy, she opened the drawer where Farhan had shoved her books the night before. She pulled one out. Her hands trembled, but she read anyway. Pages turned, hours passed. A sense of freedom, sweet and forbidden, washed over her. But when the door creaked open, she froze. Farhan stood there, his eyes locked onto the book in her hand. He didn't shout. He didn't move. He just stared, deeply, coldly. "You lied." Aisha's throat felt tight. "Farhan, this isn't normal. You're acting like—" "Like what?" He stepped closer. "Like I care about our relationship?" "This isn't care," she cried. "This is control." A long silence. Then Farhan says something that chilled her. "Maybe you're too used to choosing fiction over real people." Aisha backed away. Each step felt heavier than the last. She didn't know it then, but this moment would change everything. For the next week, Farhan became distant, quiet. He stopped eating with her, stopped texting her during work, stopped smiling at all. Aisha tried everything: talking, reasoning, apologizing, staying silent. Nothing worked. One night, unable to sleep, she walked into the living room and found Farhan sitting in the dark. His laptop screen glowed, illuminating his face. He slammed it shut the moment he saw her. "Farhan, what's going on?" "Nothing." "You changed, suddenly, drastically. Why?" He clenched his jaw. His eyes darted away. And then, quietly, he said, "You want the truth?" She nodded. "I found your messages." Aisha froze. "What messages?" "Your online fan communities," he said in a low voice. "Those discussions, those stories you wrote, those emotional posts. You talk more passionately about fictional characters than you ever talk about us." Aisha stared at him. "That's what this is about?" Her voice broke. "Farhan, those stories help me process my feelings. They're harmless. To you. But to me, they made me feel like I wasn't enough." Aisha softened. For a moment, a crack of vulnerability appeared in his voice. But then he added, "That's why fiction needs to go." Her heart dropped. So this wasn't love. It was insecurity, twisted into control.
3 days later, the situation escalated. Farhan took her bookshelf apart. Every book, every journal, every DVD, gone. He packed them into boxes and put them in the storage room. "This is for your own good," he said. Aisha felt tears burning her eyes. "My books are not hurting you," she whispered. "They're hurting us." "No," she said, voice trembling. "Your insecurity is hurting us." Farhan's face twisted with anger. "You will choose," he warned. "Fiction or me." The words echoed in her skull. Choose? Between love and herself? Between a partner and her passions? Between control and freedom? Her silence was her answer.
A week passed in suffocating tension. Farhan monitored everything she did. But one evening, when he left for a late work meeting, Aisha quietly opened the storage room. She packed her books, her favorite mug, her notebooks, her laptop, her clothes, everything that was hers. Her heart pounded. Her hands shook, but she didn't stop. She left the apartment key on the dining table, left without looking back, left the version of herself who tolerated too much. Aisha stayed at her cousin's house. The first morning alone, she cried. Relief, heartbreak, fear, freedom, all twisted together. But slowly, piece by piece, she rebuilt herself. She read again. She wrote again. She watched dramas again. She laughed again. For the first time in months, her mind felt alive. Farhan called, texted, begged. She ignored every message because now she understood. Love doesn't restrict. Love doesn't cage. Love doesn't erase who you are. 3 months later, Aisha met Farhan one last time at a small cafe. He looked tired, thin, a shadow of the man he used to be. "I'm sorry," he said quietly. Aisha nodded, calm and composed. "I know," she replied, "but sorry doesn't undo the damage." "I was insecure," he admitted. "I feared losing you to stories." "You lost me because you stopped trusting me," she said gently. "Not because of fiction." Farhan lowered his eyes. "Can we try again?" Aisha inhaled slowly. "No," she said with sad firmness. "I've grown too much to shrink again." She stood and walked away, this time without fear. Aisha moved into a new apartment. She decorated it with plants, fairy lights, and books, so many books. Every evening, she curled up on the couch with tea and a blanket, reading stories that made her heart warm. She started writing again, too. Her stories grew online. People loved her characters. Her confidence bloomed. She didn't need permission to enjoy her passions. She didn't need to apologize for her joy. She didn't need to shrink for anyone. She had herself.
And that was enough.
On her 28th birthday, Aisha held her finished novel, the one she wrote after leaving Farhan. A story about a woman who rediscovered herself after breaking free from a controlling love. Her friend asked, "Is it based on your life?" Aisha smiled. "Parts of it," she said. "The pain and the healing." "What about the ending?" her friend asked. "The ending," Aisha said with confidence, "is the beginning of a better life." And it was. Because the girl who once cried quietly over losing her books was now an author holding her own. A story that came from pain and turned into empowerment. A life that once felt restricted now felt boundless. Fiction didn't disconnect her from reality. It helped her build a better one. The end.